Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Hope you're all having a great week so far and still just basking in the glory that was Sunday afternoon at the MCG. I have to say I've watched the replay a few times and probably will until Saturday, but the footy moves fast. We're straight into Saturday afternoon football back at Marvel Stadium, and we're taking on a similar team to Hawthorn, I think, in that they've shown some really good signs and lost a couple of games, but can be pretty dangerous on their day, and that's the Gold Coast Suns. They are 2-2, just percentage out of the 8, and we are 3-1, 130% in 4th position on the ladder, and looking to continue some good form off the back of 3 wins in a row. Not the ideal start to the week. Obviously, Paddy Ryder has been rubbed out for 2 weeks, which is absolute bullshit, and the AFL system really needs an overhaul. So now the Gills finishing up at the end of the year. Hopefully we can somehow get Michael Christian out of the AFL tribunal house and we can get someone in there that actually understands football and can give these decisions the attention and the integrity that they deserve. But without that, let's get that out of the way. It's the Gold Coast Suns. It's at 1:45 Marvel Stadium. A game we should win. Obviously, we're not going to have Paddy Ryder, and that's a big thing because when we have Paddy and we have Rowe, we win 70% of the time, and when we don't and we only have one of them, we win about 45 to 40% of the time. So not great. But we've got some players that can come in. Tom Campbell got the man of the match at Sandy last week, had 20 disposals, I think over 25 hit-outs, kicked a goal, was in very good form. The best player on the ground in our loss to Box Hill. Then you've got someone like Jack Hayes who can come in. And we know that he can go forward, but Tom Campbell's probably the most suited physically to taking on someone like a Jared Wits. And let's get straight into it. These are my points. I've got them here. I know all of you love them. On the whiteboard that some of you think is probably too big for my handwriting. Let's get straight into it. The first one is Took Miller. This guy, we don't even really need to go through the stats because all of us that watch footy weekly know how good this guy is and how critical he's going to be in this game for Gold Coast, particularly because we won't have Ryder there. So there's going to be moments where we may not get the clearances as easily as we did against Hawthorn, and Took Miller's going to be the main focus for Gold Coast in getting clearance work and then running hard from there. He's not just a good inside player, he can run on the outside and he can run all day. So he's the main danger for us. So the question that I posed to Marshy on the podcast yesterday was, do we tag him? Do we tag Took Miller? Does someone like Jack Steele, our captain, do something incredibly selfless and say, let's roll the clock back. Let's go back to, Jack Steele, the tagger, and let's go and take out the best player in the other team, the most important player in the center of the ground, the main driver of all of their attacks, and take him out of the game and let the rest of the mids do the job. Let Jade Gresham do the job. Let Brad Crouch do the job. Get Jack Sinclair back in there. We've got good support now for Jack Steele. He doesn't need to be the main man, and I think he's loving it. So what do you reckon, guys? Do we go with a tag on Took Miller? Does Seb Ross go to him? Because Seb's been in very good form, but he's also been very good in an attacking sense. So we don't want to lose too much of that. We don't want to worry too much about the opposition, but obviously my dot points are just kind of, 2 or 3 critical players. And from there, I think we can cover them. So Took Miller, the main threat for Gold Coast at the moment. Curious to hear your thoughts, Sainers, on whether we tag him or we just go head to head and try to beat him in the middle of the ground at his own game. Next one, bit of a combo. Wits, Chol. Sorry about that. I've got the light coming through. Wits, Chol. Obviously, that in itself is always going to be a factor. Chol's been in great form, averaging about 10 to 15 hit-outs when he pinch hits in the ruck. But he's also kicked 9 or 10 goals, so that's very good for a resting ruck. Our resting ruck, Ron Marshall's only kicked the 2 goals as comparison. Jared Wits, close to best on ground in their win against Carlton on the weekend. I think he had over 40 hit-outs. He's a very big boy, gets around the ground well. And he's probably, the top 3, top 4 with Took Miller and these sort of guys as their most important player. So the fact that we've lost Paddy is huge because it plays into their hands a little bit. But also, we've got Rowan Marshall. And we all know that Rose probably started the season a bit slower than we would have expected. But some of his best games in recent years have been when he's been the sole ruck and he's been taking on the Grundys, the Wits, the Goldsteins of the competition, and that's really brought the best and the competitive beast out of him. So this could be a blessing in disguise. We don't know, but obviously we need to give Wits and Chol the respect they deserve because they're two very important players in the middle of the ground and also forward of the ball. For me, if I was probably picking the team, I'd bring in Tom Campbell. I don't think this is a matchup for Jack Hayes. I think Tom Campbell allows Rowan Marshall to rest forward more, and that doesn't mean Rowe's kicking a bag, but what it means is it allows Max King to get off the chain, Tim Membry to get off the chain, and we saw how good that was last week and even the week before. So I think, I hate to say it, but I don't think it's the week for Jack Hayes. Maybe next week, but with Wits, it's critical that we get a player that can go in the middle of the ground and really compete and compete hard and not get manhandled. And I think Tom Campbell's probably the best player to do that. And then Rowan Marshall can rotate with him and also go forward. And Campbell can go forward as well. So I think that's the best way to combat the Wits-Chol combination. Weller. Lockie Weller. He's kind of started the season slow, but he was immense on the weekend against the Carlton Blues. And he's the main driver. He's the main speed. So I've got Took Miller there as kind of the inside grunt and the leadership aspect of the team. Then you got Wits and Chol, the height and the ruck work. And then their key danger in terms of run and spread, and that's Lockie Weller. And he's a great ball user. He's very fast. It's going to be very interesting to see what we do with him, whether we just go head-to-head. Hawthorn tried to move the ball fast last week against us, but that obviously played into our hands. Gold Coast have some fast individual players, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on someone like Lockie Weller, whether maybe we can put D-Mac on him, who can run all day, equally as fast, and kind of create like a mini tag on him. I don't know, but I don't think we need to go too defensive on this game. That's the first thing I want to quickly clarify is we need to give them problems. I think they've got some strengths, but I think we've got more than enough. Even if we don't tag any of their players and just go strictly head-to-head without Paddy Ryder, we should have more than enough to account for Gold Coast. But you've got to treat them with the utmost respect because they're a dangerous team. They haven't played at Marvel this season yet, so that could benefit us, that they're travelling away from home, and they're generally not that good at Marvel. But as we know, playing them, every time we play them, it's always a 5 or 10 point margin. It's a very close game. So it would be nice to finally get one over them in a big way. And I think last week was really good for Saints fans to see the way we were playing and to beat Hawthorn, who had a lot of positive feedback in their first 3 games. And a lot of people tipped them against us. But I think this game is really the one that is the settler, that if we get through this and we get through this comfortably and we just play our way and we win by, say, 30 points, no injuries, nothing amazing, didn't have to come from behind, didn't have to play out of our skins to do it, but just a routine win, I think that builds more belief than even the game against Hawthorn last week or the Richmond second half. Honestly, I think these are the games that if we lose this, the last 2 weeks almost don't mean anything because we go back to square one where it's, here we go, we're unpredictable, we're inconsistent. But we've won 3 on the trot. 4 would be the first time since 2020. And I think the 4th win in a row was actually the Gold Coast Suns. I might be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we beat Gold Coast by 7 or 8 points. Butler kicked 4, and we won 4 in a row. And then the next week we got smashed by Geelong. So this is a big opportunity for us. 4 wins in front of the home fans. Get a big crowd at Marvel, which generally we don't against interstate clubs. But we're playing some of the most attractive football in the competition. We're the highest scoring team in the competition. And speaking of key stats, Gold Coast average 11 goals a game. We average nearly 16 goals a game. So they need to do more than we need to do in terms of defensive side. I think they have a lot more to worry about. And obviously we haven't even mentioned him, but Max King, who goes to him? Lukosius is going to be out, I believe. So that's a good one for him because he's one of their most dangerous ball users. He's a great player and he was playing predominantly forward. So that's one more tool that we don't have to worry about. They've got Corbet, they've got Casbolt. Obviously, Chol will rest down there. Maybe even Wits. So they're gonna have some moments, but I think this is a big show of our maturity of how we handle this game. If we can get through it, get the win, and then have players coming back, I think we're looking very good for the rest of the season. I've heard that Jimmy Webster might actually be out. I'm not sure if that is related to Rats being out with COVID, but hopefully no more players are pop up with the protocol and they miss the game, that'd be devastating. We don't want to do a West Coast and have 10 players be out this week. That'd be huge. And I think the other one was Brad Hill. I saw some footage today at training. He hobbled off. I think he twisted his ankle, but it's only Wednesday, and I think there's still time for him to come back in. So in terms of changes, obviously Jack Higgins will be coming back in. That's a big one for us. But who comes out? That's the tough thing. Obviously Paddy Ryder comes out, but I think Winhager should stay in. I'm loving Nasiah. I think he's getting better every week. Ben Long's pressure is invaluable with Dan Butler-Gresham down there. Mason Wood, is he one? Although he does a lot off the ball that we don't notice, and his stats aren't huge, but he flies for the ball. He's a runner. He runs all day, and that's kind of suiting our style of play at the moment. So, and then another one I pose to you: who comes out and who comes in? Do we just put Higgins as the sub? Some people have suggested just don't bring him in. Put him in as the sub because the lineup right now is great. Why change a winning formula? So it's going to be very interesting to see the team that comes out tomorrow night. I'm tipping Tom Campbell. And then if we had to pick who comes out for Higgins, it's probably someone like a Wood or a Long. I'd be really disappointed if it was Winhager because I thought he was great on debut, and I'm very excited to see what he can do in his second game because the second game is really the one where you get a feel, you get a bit more confidence, and even Nasiah we've seen in his third game against Hawthorn how much more composure and, I guess, confidence he had in himself playing at the elite level. So this is a big game. This is surprisingly a big game. Gold Coast versus St Kilda, round 5. You wouldn't have thought that's never going to be a big game. But this is a chance to go 4-1, to entrench ourselves in the top 4, and then move on to GWS on the Friday night next week. So bring it on. Gold Coast are going to throw everything at us. They're very confident based on what they did against Carlton. But I don't know. I have this unwavering confidence that we're just going to get the job done, regardless of who doesn't play, who does play, whether Rats is there or not. I just feel like we just have a system now that's sustainable. We look very fit, and we're kicking goals from everywhere. It's not just Max King. Membry can kick a bag. Marshall can go and do some damage. Gresh can do it. Butler can do it. Hill is going to play forward again, Brendan Lane said in the press conference today. So the fact that we've got Hill that can go down there and do a job, Higgins to come back in, without even Zach Jones, Billings or Clark to even talk about, this lineup's looking very, very good. So I'll be looking at the lineup very keenly tomorrow night when it's released. But yeah, comment your thoughts, Sainers. Let me know how you're feeling about the game. I'm feeling pretty level, pretty confident going to the game. It's been a long time since I haven't been this nervous, nervous at all leading up to a game. It's only Wednesday, but for me, it's generally all week that I'm nervous. And the Hawthorn game, I was actually very nervous going into it. I thought Hawthorn had the weapons, CJ, the run, and especially the way they started the game. I was very nervous that it was going to be a long day at the G. But we matured, we took them on, and then we became the men, and it was men against boys for basically 4 quarters. So I'd love to see that attitude again. I don't think Paddy Ryder missing is going to impact the result. I think we're past that point now, and I think we can back whoever comes in to do more than enough to get the job done for us. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment. I don't even know what I'm doing. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this and you're a Saints fan and you're new to the channel, or you're not and you just haven't subscribed yet. It'd be amazing. I always appreciate the support that I get on the channel. The podcast is out with me and Marshy last night. That's been released. We also preview the game. So you can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all of those streaming platforms. It's on there. And I'll be back after the game Saturday afternoon for hopefully a review on a big win against the Gold Coast Suns. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.